Good afternoon and welcome to Charlotte, North Carolina. We have the best players in the game along with the biggest purse of the year. The wooded fairways of Nevin are awaiting, and this is the Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship presented by Barbasol. Little disc golf conversation between a couple of guys, just, having a good time out at the park. Paul McBeth, Ganon Buhr, Antala not interested. He's down to business as we're kicking off the Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship. And we're looking at Arcana current conditions, seeing 60 degrees, humidity at just 44%, wind at 9 miles per hour coming out of the northwest. Welcome in, everyone. Terry Miller alongside Nate Sexton and three-time world champ Nate Doss. Guys, we just got done with the USDGC. We're seeing the greatest players in the game. We're seeing the biggest payout of the year. It's also the finale. Does it get any better than this?
I don't think so. Not if you're in this tournament or you're a fan of the game. I mean, we've been building towards it all year. We're looking at the points all season long, seeing how those guys are jockeying. Now we get to see what they earned, these stroke advantages, and see who can take home that $35,000.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge honor to be a part of the tournament, being in the top 32. But also this is something unique that we've never seen. I mean, we've seen it over on the golf side of things, where this is how they do their tour championship. But this is the first time we're seeing it be 4 rounds with the stroke advantage by Ganon. Now, I think the betting favorite is Ganon Buhr, but honestly, there's a bunch of guys that are right behind him, including Ricky Wysocki, who is a 2-time defending champion. He also won it a 3rd time back in 2018. I think when we really have to look at things, we got to look at Ricky. But at the moment, Ganon is definitely the favorite.
Ganon certainly riding some momentum coming off of last weekend's major at the USDGC and picking up 2 USDGCs in the last 3 years for such a young superstar. We've been saying it for a while now. This guy and the skills that he brings week in and week out, we have no idea even where his ceiling is. He just keeps blowing past any expectations every single weekend.
And honestly, it's Ganon Buhr's ability to sort of just be an enigma. He can adjust to every single course that he plays. He's won in the woods this year. He's won on big golf courses this year. And to win the United States Disc Golf Championship twice in a very young life is an amazing feat that almost anybody would want. And what a comparison between 2019 and here in 2024.
Yeah, we're seeing that Paul McBeth back in 2019 had 7 Elite Series wins along with 2 majors. Ganon, 6 elite wins and 2 majors. They both finished plenty of times up on the podium. Look at the average in terms of their round ratings, 1055.9 versus 1054.5. And then the average finish, that was before McBeth had to withdraw from the USDGC. And the average win margin, that one in Ganon's favor. But nonetheless, what a conversation to be having with 2 of our all-time greats. And Ganon Buhr has 8 DGPT or major wins this season. He can tie McBeth from 2019 with the most of them in a single season if he can pick one up again this weekend. And the format, as you were just alluding to, Doss, very unique, and we're excited to have it. The starting strokes means players are awarded starting strokes based on their finish during the season-long Disc Golf Pro Tour World Standings. There's no reset, unlike last year, where all the players now will play all 4 rounds of the event, and they will keep their starting strokes throughout. And we have a $300,000 added purse. First place will take home $35,000, and we have equal payouts in both MPO and FPO. Jesse Nieminen picked up a win at Copenhagen Open, and so although he wasn't initially in the top 32, that win guaranteed him a spot here this weekend. And I'm sure he is happy to be here, and hopefully he can only increase what his payout's going to be if he can perform well. And these are the starting strokes we were just referencing. Ganon will be essentially sitting at 10 under as we start the round. Wysocki at 9, Antala at 8. Kelvin Heimberg will start out at -7, and then you see the next couple of cards at both -6 and -5 respectively.
The way I like to look at it is, imagine this is a 5-round tournament, and these are the scores after the first round. I mean, if that was the case, we'd be thinking, boy, Ganon probably has a pretty good chance to win. So, but that being said, in a 5-round tournament, a lot changes in rounds 2 and 3, which in our case is rounds 1 and 2.
And I think, these guys at 0 are probably a little farther back than they normally would be 1 round in, even if you have a tough day. Ganon Buhr is not likely to be taking you by 10 if you're one of the top 32 players in the world.
We jump out to the course with Chris Dickerson on the tee of 1.
I'm going to say this just once. That just felt weird. It's Dickerson on the first hole. He's 5 down. The leader's at 10. We haven't even started yet. But I got to trick myself even.
That was a fantastic shot.
And Dickerson converts on the birdie look on hole number 1. The Robinson brothers will tee off on the other side of the break.
You're looking at a work of art. No, it's not the Mona Lisa. But this beautiful can costs a lot less and looks magnificent in your bathroom. And Mona Lisa can't give you a smooth, close shave. Barbasol. It's a can of can-do.
Feeling great starts with a great shave, and a great shave starts with Barbasol. The American original, Barbasol delivers a great shave for half the price of gels. Better yet, Barbasol has a formula for everyone. Why pay more for a great shave?
Barbasol.
Tie at the top. She has to make it.
No way!
Nervy putt to win.
Hanley!
Her first Disc Golf Pro Tour elite event.
At LL Bean, we've been innovating for over a century, making great products better so you can feel better. Day after day, year after year. Outside together since 1912. LL Bean. Be an outsider.
Feeling great starts with a great shave. Today, the world is in the palm of your hand. Or at least this can is. For over 100 years, Barbasol. It's a can of can-do.
The Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship is presented by Barbasol. Close Shave America, Close Shave Barbasol.
You can't have glasses on this spot.
Four eyes coming in clutch
Yeah,
here.
dinosaurs don't wear glasses.
Yeah,
They were
dinos don't wear glasses.
He's kind of built like a dino.
Oh, got me.
He's going bulldozer.
Yes.
Right?
No,
That's not real.
No.
No! Come back!
Oh, yeah.
Off.
My God.
Do you think Gavin's head hurts from putting the dino mask on still?
I think so, maybe.
Oh, a little grin and a nod.
Money.
So annoying.
Money.
money, 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 money.
You're gonna have to use the swing physics
Hi, buddy.
to push their putt in the basket. And we have a beautiful sweet dog in your way. Don't want to swing into that.
Oh, it's gonna make it trickier to swing. We're gonna have to wait. Gavin, you're clear to putt. No, I'm not. You're on the clock. I will take a courtesy. Skipper alert. This is sweet. Skipper alert. Oh, the skip shot. That was cool. Respect.
Well, catch the Jomez Pro putting game premiere right after the final round of the Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship on Sunday. Use code CHAMP50 to save 50% on your first full month of DGN. And with that, our second best card of the year ready to go on the tee
Ladies
of
and
one.
gentlemen, welcome to the Matt Keats Memorial Disc Golf Course at Nevin Park. Today marks the first round of competition for the 2024 Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship presented by Barbasol. This is the 2:40 tee time. First on the box, from Lawrenceville, Georgia, Isaac Robinson. Representing Huntington Beach, California, Paul Macbeth. Also out of Lawrenceville, Georgia, Ezra Robinson. And rounding out our cards from Scottsdale, Arizona, Anthony Varela.
There's your tee shots. We're blessed to have Nate Perkins out on the ground today, and right now he's catching up with Paul Macbeth for a little idio walk and talk. Take it away.
Paul, brand new format here for the Tour Championship. Does the mindset change at all?
No, I still want to come out here and shoot a solid first round. I know I'm back strokes, but can't really worry about that this first day. Just need to put four solid rounds together this week.
Is that Flippy Athena that you're throwing right there? Are you going to be using that one quite a bit?
Yeah, I use that a bit. I think I throw it on the first 4 or 5 holes out here. Just kind of soft little turns like that. But yeah, a lot of flippy stuff out here.
Thanks, Paul. Good luck.
Thank you.
Insight from Macbeth as to not only how he's going to attack the weekend and what you know is ahead of him, but also specifically all the way down to the disc. I mean, we talk about it all the time. A lot of the fans and spectators and even the disc golf community says we love watching disc golf in the woods. some may argue that they like woods this much because this Matt Keats course is definitely going to be challenging not only the skills but also their patience.
Yeah, I think patience is a great word there, Terry, because, and I think Macbeth said it perfectly, you cannot worry about the starting scores at all. It's 4-round tournament. You're only 4 back. I mean, that's not that many strokes. That's 1 stroke per round, and you end up being tied. So I think you got to just be patient. You got to try to make the best shots you can, and you can't assume that it's over before you even get started.
This course, as close to an opposite of Winthrop as you're going to find. I mean, I think a lot of guys are probably going to have to switch up the bag considerably because you could conceivably play Winthrop essentially without a flippy disc if you wanted to. If you're proficient forehand and backhand. Not the case out here with these long tunnels. You got to really play that subtle game. That flip up is going to be required for anybody to have success keeping it in between the trees out here.
It's like any wooded course, really, Nevin. You have to put yourself in circle 2. You have to give yourself opportunities. You don't have to make them all. We know that putting in the woods tends to be a little bit easier as far as distance putting is concerned, as long as you have an open line, of course. But yeah, you just have to give yourself great opportunities. You have to play well off the tee. If you're just scrambling all day, that's where the big numbers can come from.
Chase cards through 1. Robinson, the only birdie. We'll be right back.
Everything changes. Life changes. Seasons change. And your personal style changes too. Luckily, your Zuka can change with you. One frame, with a lifetime warranty, can stick with you through thick and thin. And if it's time for something new, just swap out your insert to match the new you. Match your style and let your Zuka grow with you.
Hello, we're Kenna. We're a Dutch growing company. We love plants and we want to tell you some cool things about them. Just like humans, plants can communicate. They can sense when another plant is close. Plants look out for each other too. They warn neighbors about nearby threats by secreting substances. And studies have shown that plants love a good tune. We love and understand plants. Let our passion excite you too.
Your morning shave is a time for self-reflection. Look in that mirror and ask yourself, can I make a real difference in this world? Of course you can. Just not today. There's football on. Barbasol. It's a can of can-do.
Feeling great starts with a great shave, and a great shave starts with Barbasol. The American original Barbasol delivers a great shave for half the price of gels. Better yet, Barbasol has a formula for everyone. Why pay more for a great shave?
Barbasol.
And love for you to join us here in the off season. Again, use that code CHAMP50 to get yourself 50% off your first month of your DGN subscription. Ton of things going on, including the putting game, as we were just talking about, finding the lines with Paul Macbeth and Dylan Cease as they're developing courses. It's absolutely incredible. So much action. Make sure you tune in to the Disc Golf Network. Champ50 gets you 50% off. all the way past the pin.
Yeah, I mean, just barely missing early trees, getting through cleanly. Another great shot there by Isaac Robinson. Now, obviously, we'll see how this weekend goes. But, you know, for Macbeth, thinking about keeping the streak alive of Elite Series or Majors, Ricky has already got his this year. Macbeth has not. This is the final opportunity for Paul Macbeth to keep his streak alive. I believe it'll be 15.
Well, and we're talking about Control, as you just saw a post from them. They're created by a community, built for the culture, the meal replacement shake that tastes like the bottom of a cereal bowl. Use DGPT to save 10% off at drinkcontrol.com/DGPT.
I mean, haven't you always just wanted cereal to be health food?
That would be convenient.
And now we might have that opportunity.
Paul did show some nice control with that shot, to be
He
honest.
did.
I thought he overcooked it, but he knew more than I did. He brought it in with, I think, a slow driver. Was able to get that late fade.
Watching Ricky Wysocki along with Ganon Buhr as they're arriving. And Wysocki, you said it at the top of the show, back-to-back championship titles here. Those are to make hit for his second and third titles at the Tour Championship. By Wysocki has stepped up big in these last couple of years.
I mean, this was amazing. In the playoff, Ricky Wysocki, and he just clutched up, man. He was absolutely clutch. Not everybody in the world, even the best, would make that putt the way Ricky did.
Or the 470-foot forehand required to even get that look. He was phenomenal.
That putt was nasty. That's on 16 last year. A check heavier than the trophy.
Back-to-back in 22 and 23 for the Tour Championship. Champion in Ricky Wysocki also won in 2017 at New World in Jacksonville. So Wysocki knows what it means to get up on this big stage and collect a really big check. He's looking to do the same this weekend. Kyle Klein. Long look on 3, and he gets it.
When I think of this event and the times that we've been lucky enough to call it here at Nevin these last couple of years, the first thing I think of is just putts going in from everywhere.
Yep. Absolutely. Like, putting in the woods is just fun.
Yeah.
And it always, I mean, as that's a tale as old as time. As long as we've been throwing disc baskets. And a lot of it is due to the fact that A, the wind is protected, and B, you have a lot of point of references for distances, right? So if you're, behind a tree, okay, just get around that tree. And it is. The putts are going to be falling in from circle 2 and beyond all weekend long. It's going to be pretty fun to watch.
Yeah, and you just get the opportunity to kind of throw that dream putt where the woods let you plan it better. Like in the open, you're not planning that little double move putt, but sometimes the trees force that. When you do it perfectly, so fun.
Antala looking to finish out his tour strong.
Eagle McMahon here, and I present to you my Tour of Tear official Team Series Fission Pyro with the Fission plastic. It actually flies a little bit straighter than your typical pyro. Go check it out. You're gonna like it.
I love you like la 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 la.
always dream of mine to have like my name on a disc, even Destroyer, my all-time favorite disc. Just big honor to have this.
If you want to know what a disc is going to feel like before you get it, you have to check out OTB Disc. The first thing I'm looking for when I grab a new disc is the feel of the disc. It's got to be confidence instilled. Virtually in your hand tells you what the disc is going to feel like, how heavy it's going to be. It's everything you want to know before it shows up to your house.
It's really, really helpful in not only finding a disc that looks beautiful, but it's also exactly what you're looking for it to feel like. Of course, when you're dealing with OTB, you're going to get only the best.
Sweet. Hey everyone, James Conrad here with Team MVP. I just got my hands on the Eclipse Detour, the Tour of Terror, Eve of the Mothman, orchestrated by James Conrad III and the Blacksburg, Virginia Trio. It's on the understable side. I can just get some really cool lines out of it, really late flip-ups. This is the Eclipse Detour, in stores now.
Have 4 minutes.
Ganon Buhr can become the first player to 200,000 in a single season with a win.
What's the code?
With a $35,000 first place prize, he will reach $211,432. And he's not shy about it. He knows it'll get spent on Legos one way or another, as Ganon's a pretty big Lego fanatic. I'm not hip on the lingo, guys. What's a Lego fanatic? What's a nickname for them? There's got to be some terminology for Lego fanatics.
Look, I think the real story here, this guy's 19 years old. Those are 18-plus-year-old sets. You know, so
they're
think
barely
about the time.
appropriate for
like
his age.
That is an 18-plus set. I just checked the website. You don't get that Eiffel Tower for some 17-year-old. This guy is a young man coming into his own.
And clearly he's ahead of his peers in a lot of ways. But man, those Legos, that looks fun. I would like to be a part of that at some point.
Because it could be like the same number.
I'm seeing an Ale, an adult Lego enthusiast, which he's recently become as I take to the Googles.
Oh, he's that.
An AFL, which stands for Adult Fan of Lego. Okay. I'll try and keep the rest PG here, but a quick Google search just led me to those.
I think the biggest problem for him is he's so successful now. Lego can't make sets fast enough for this guy.
They really can't. That was a cool picture, too, of the Legos with all his trophies.
Yeah.
And the one that I saw was the Masters Cup trophy, and boy, am I jealous. Never won that one, man, but that was my hometown. Grew up there, and that was just a cool picture.
We're doing Beat the Pro at Noda Brewing on Friday night.
All right. Man, we really have not talked about Calvin Heimberg, and we certainly should not count Calvin out. What a great run he had just last weekend at the USDGC. If Calvin makes putts, I think he certainly could chase down Ganon and win the Tour Championship.
Set the high score. Top pro score will win.
Okay, cool.
If you,
are they doing vending and stuff too?
Yeah. Okay. They're trying to get like a couple hundred people there.
Okay, cool. Sweet. Yeah, sounds good. Vending.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Matt Keith Memorial Disc Golf Course at Nevin Park. Today marks the first round of competition for the 2024 Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship presented by Barbasol. This is your feature card. First on the box, out of Urbandale, Iowa, Ganon Buhr.
good.
Representing Scottsdale, Arizona, Ricky Livestock. All the way from Tokyo, Finland, Nicholas Antala. Harvard, Florida, Calvin Heimer.
Our final card is now on the course as we take a look at Nate's Keys, brought to us by blackinkdisc.com, the premium disc golf store.
Well, we've already kind of alluded to a lot of this already in the show today, but precision off the tee, so critical. Circle 2 in regulation, you got to give yourself opportunities, as we just talked about. A lot of big putts can be made out here. Scramble saves, obviously that's a critical statistical number, but you do not want to have to make that many. As soon as you get past 3, 4, 5 scramble opportunities, that's when the round can really start to get away from you, because the harder you try to scramble, the bigger the number can get. So we'll see how the day progresses.
That approach will get Macbeth within range. Now Robinson. Birdie look, but doesn't draw medal.
I used the word earlier for Ganon Buhr of enigma. I mean, he's so willing to try anything. I mean, the only guy we saw throw a roller on the first tee here, right? I really appreciate that. He doesn't try to force anything, and he's willing to throw a shot that he maybe doesn't throw regularly to give himself the best chance to birdie.
I think the roller makes so much sense here because the gap is so small late. The roller is a hard-working shot. You can absorb a couple little hits, as Ricky's just off the left side. You can hit a couple things, and it's going to keep spinning forward, fighting through. You don't quite need that precision, in my view, that the air shot requires. Calvin coming off that course record final round at the USDGC.
Macbeth for birdie. He would go on to make the par putt as the comebacker, but kind of surprising to not see him draw any medal there. Antala in for birdie. We're through one as they'll head over to two. We'll see you there in a moment.
You're looking at a work of art. No, it's not the Mona Lisa. But this beautiful can costs a lot less and looks magnificent in your bathroom. And Mona Lisa can't give you a smooth, close shave. Barbasol. It's a can of can-do.
Feeling great starts with a great shave, and a great shave starts with Barbasol. The American original Barbasol delivers a great shave for half the price of gels. Better yet, Barbasol has a formula for everyone. Why pay more for a great shave?
Barbasol.
Pound's the best of the best. It's the quality, the craftsmanship, the vision for what a bag could be.
I don't think anyone's disputing that it's the best made bag.
Hello everyone, I'm Silva Saarinen. I'm talking here about MVP's Halloween edition Eclipse Waves. They feel good for my hand and there is just a little bit dome. You can get your Eclipse Waves in stores now.
The Power Disc Golf Academy would like to shout out Tom K. When Tom joined the Academy, his rating was 685. Tom has increased his rating by an unbelievable 117 points and is now rated 802. Ezra's max distance lessons have increased his distance and accuracy, and it shows. Great job, Tom. Keep it up. If you want to improve your rating like Tom has, scan the QR code and use promo code DGPT at checkout for an exclusive discount to the Power Disc Golf Academy.
Well, you should check out all our new Nightmare at Nevin apparel. These festive shirts and hoodies are glow in the dark, making them perfect for glow rounds. Available while supplies last at DGPT Pro Shop. So head on over, pick up a Nightmare at Nevin glow in the dark shirt.
That's cool. I like that. Cool design. Very festive.
Yeah, when you hit a first tree out here on one of those par fours, the basket actually does look kind of like that.
That's true. And Ganon's hit early here on a par 3. So early scramble opportunity for the leader of the tournament. This is a really fun par 4. I think I kind of like how it bends late there. You got to get it all the way back to the pin.
Pretty forgiving fairway width as well. Nice to see some discs fly on number 4.
I think that's the mistake here generally on 2 is sort of overturning it. I really feel as if you have to allow the disc to do the work. And that's something that you just mentioned, difference from last week. There was no allowing the disc to do anything. You just force it to do whatever you want it to do. Here, you need to throw that disc straight and just let it bend. You can't go with too much angle out of your hand.
Yeah, I feel like at Winthrop you're kind of going, please don't bend on almost every shot, and here that's exactly what you need, is a little drift, a little bit of glide. Fun to watch the contrasting styles back-to-back weeks.
I think Calvin had done a nice job of that. Just initially it was on the wrong line, but the proper shot overall.
Isaac throwing his second. Just a standstill, and it looks like he'll be just behind where Macbeth had landed.
That was pretty great from an awkward spot for Robinson, I think. Should be a pretty easy par from there.
Little zip on this one for Wysocki. And it checks up just past the pin. Gonna roll a Zuka replay. Just the finesse, the control, hitting the gap. Just the right amount of speed, even on the downhill slope. Nice shot by Wysocki.
There's just nobody better in the game at scrambling. And that's one of the reasons why Ricky has won the last 2 years. It's because even in the worst of scenarios, not every time, but most of the time, he's able to make the big save. And boy, Ganon's going to be under some distress here early.
Yeah, I mean, Rick has every shot in the game. He's got the aggressive mindset. Even when he does hit a tree, he's liable to hit that C2 putt. It's no surprise that he's often leading in those scramble statistics. Wow, off the top. That was pretty incredible.
Buhr to save par. Beth has a birdie look. Anthony Barella with a stepper. Gets it from 45 feet. And Buhr will clean up for the bogey. Simon Lizotte and Chris Dickerson, the only other two players to bogey hole number 2, in addition to Ganon Buhr here today. So not one that you'd expect to be giving one back to the field on.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the shorter holes, but if you hit those initial trees and take the big kick, right? Ricky's hit the first tree but stayed in the middle. That big kicks is what gets you. And, you know, the course is very fair down the fairway, but as soon as you get in that rough, that's when things start to get a little squirrely.
And we're going to take a look at hole number 3, but when you got Brian Earhart out there, you might as well have him break it down for us. What do you know, Brian?
Really interesting hole. Pretty equal challenge for the lefty and the righty on this one. The righties, if you're throwing that hyzer, it's such a specific push hyzer going uphill. You can't throw something too stable because it's going to ride too far to the left side. Then you're faced with pretty much nothing up to the pin. Par is going to feel good. A lot of players trying to get aggressive are going to go that big power flex forehand. Try to push it up as far as they can. But with that, if you hit a tree, you're kicking way off to the right, and bogey's going to feel good. So this initial shot's really interesting. I really like hole 3. One of the coolest holes in the course.
Appreciate it, Brian. And small sample size so far, but currently playing as the 5th most difficult hole on the course, averaging 4.03.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel as if the power sidearm is the kind of the bigger risk with the greater reward. But as Brian said, any kick to the right, there's a Mando midway down the fairway, and if you're way off to the right, you still have to work your way back around that mandatory. That's why bogey becomes even a good score. The backhand can't get quite as far up the fairway, but if you put it in the middle, you can get really aggressive on the second one and try to get all the way up to the pin. It's only 630 feet, but it does play uphill. About 40 feet total of elevation gain here on hole number 3. Loving that. Flat lie for Antala.
Woohoo. Wow, just that close. He brushed that tree, just kind of extended the shot. It didn't really change the angle or spin. But you're talking millimeters.
Yeah. I mean, in fact, it's hard to know because we can't see the opposite, but I think he overturned that in a way, and that kick just kind of pushed him back towards the middle of the fairway.
That final roll not doing Heimberg any favors there. He would have loved to have landed right where it hit. Looked like he was going to be in the center of the fairway. Rolling back, it's going to make for an awkward position.
Yeah, Calvin playing that one a little bit safer than we saw the backhand from Antala, just taking something very stable, not trying to gain that much distance up the fairway. That'll be interesting. Might see Ganon have to go to a sidearm there. It's on the far left of the fairway.
Let's take another look.
I mean, this is appropriate.
Yeah, the close shave for sure.
Look at this. Boink.
Wow. Yeah, it definitely changed it a little. Just fortunate for him, didn't change the angle at all. Just kind of corrected him back into the fairway. And it's a big drive at the end of the day. Put it in the good break column for Ricky Wysocki.
Yeah. I mean, he's going to need to take advantage, though. Anytime you get that kind of situation and you're the farthest one up the fairway, you really want to try to take advantage.
Over to the 5th, over 1,000 feet here, and Macbeth has cooked this over to the right a little bit.
It looked like it hit the top of the hill and kind of cut rolled, which is, I think, is actually an advantage for Paul, because if you crest that hill going right, you can get down in that big bush. And I think he avoided that.
Yeah, we've seen some people with some really tough escapes from over there on that right side if players are trying to get a little too aggressive and really push for that wood line in one shot. I mean, it is a hole where you'd love a huge tee shot, but certainly risk on both sides. OB on the left and terrible rough on the right. Calvin throws the roller up to the corner. He should be pretty easy access to the basket from there. Yeah, and Macbeth did stop in a decent spot.
And he filters through everything. And even the kick and the rollout at the end is helpful. Great second shot by Macbeth. Back with Buhr.
Looks like some pretty tight gaps right away for him on this forehand. Fortunate, I think, to stay in the fairway at least, because you know, a kick with that kind of speed could go a long way. But he squared that tree up.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine a big kick right here. I mean, that's that scenario that we talk about. You know, mandatory still in play, all kinds of stuff here. The mandatory, I believe, is pretty much even with that tee pad off to the right. You can kind of see that bench and tee pad just up in front of Antila.
Yeah.
I believe that's sort of parallel to the right with the drop zone, so or with the mandatory. So imagine had Ganon kicked right here, he'd have to play back around.
Niklas knows this shot better than most. The second shot on this hole right here. A few years ago, we saw that incredible highlight. Gets this one around the corner, sliding into perhaps circle 2. It's going to be circle 2 would be a fantastic result from here with this forehand. He's still kind of hemmed in by these trees.
Yeah. And really the big one is the one on the right. You can see him, he's trying to plant his left foot as far left as it can go, but it's just scary to go full bore when you might almost hit the disc on the tree. And that's the mistake we would expect there.
Oh, and there is that right kick. A double bogey. Very much in play for Ganon Buhr.
No question about it. He's past the Mando. But still, long way left to the pin still.
There's Robinson throwing a second.
I think this is a really fantastic par 5. I think a lot of opportunity to make birdie, and if you can really get a big one out there, you can, you know, outside chance for a throw-in eagle.
Is this too much hyzer? No, it's just fine. The way Chris reacted, I got worried that he felt like he had let it slip out as quickly as he turned around.
Yeah.
And maybe he did feel that way. I don't know. But in the end, it was a good shot.
Just all part of the Dickerson twirl. I think that's a new move he's going for. Here's Barella.
Oh, nice. Yes. Great shot. So a huge opportunity here for Ricky Wysocki. I mean, Ganon looking at potential double.
Left it a bit wider than I thought he would. Wasn't really quite willing to pull it down the inside, so I think he's going to have a little longer putt than he might have liked, but certainly a fairway hit. Wow, what a shot. Macbeth had to work a lot harder there than I expected he was going to have to. He kind of tucked up high on the hill. Extreme angle with the forehand and just calculated perfectly as it comes down and lands flat. Circle 2 look.
Yep.
Maybe just at the edge of the circle, so a chance to save the bogey.
I know, but
Robinson with his third. And the forehand pays off.
Backhand specialist. Come on.
Not something we see often.
But that's the state of the game right now, I feel like. It tells you as much as anything, where you go to a guy that you're like, oh, this guy doesn't really throw forehands. And when he needs like this technical, tricky one, he's ready. He's got that ready to go, and he throws it beautifully there.
It's drifting towards the OB.
Macbeth for birdie. And off the top. So after a couple of incredible shots, as you're just mentioning, he gets inside the circle and doesn't convert.
Yeah, he's working too hard to miss that putt. That will be very frustrating.
So Wysocki will remain birdie free after that long attempt. Here's Antala. Deep in circle 2. Count it. Antala buries it from 50 feet.
It's the early shot of the day, I would say. From what we've seen, nice big 50-footer there from Antala.
I think the way that this hole is playing out right now, if Ganon Buhr makes this next putt and keeps his loss to Ricky Wysocki to just 1 stroke, it's nearly a momentum in Ganon Buhr's favor in a weird way for the way that it looked like it was playing out. Can he do it? No. Okay. That's off the table. Double bogey. Because I think Rick was probably loving his chances to take 2 here, the way that that was starting, and that is going to come to pass. Rick has a pretty short look for par.
Calvin also remains birdie free, as will Rick, but Gannon helping them out as he's going to tap in for the double bogey, and Antala is going to be your outright leader.
I mean, just today, right now, this is an interesting thought experiment as we're going to see Robinson for his birdie. Oh, and high left stays in. But Gannon started the day at 10 under. But it's not as if he had the 10 under confidence.
Sure.
Of like, hey, I shot 10 yesterday. And so that is a very interesting mental space as well of who can get confident early. Because already the advantage is erased. And so, is the word I would use.
I think in a way, it's as much as Ganon Buhr can forget about the advantage he's earned or the advantage he has. I mean, I think that's all mentally kind of strange as a golfer. He's just got to put his head down and play golf. It's a slow start for him now. Obviously, still right there. I think he'll be best served to just play the tournament and add up the scorecards at the end of the round.
Yeah. It's so interesting with Barella. He has to throw disc that high to avoid going long.
Yeah.
You know, it's look at the elevation difference between what Isaac just threw and the one that we just saw from Barella. If Barella goes that low, he's in the woods long on this corner.
For me, it's also like the perceived swing speed, too. Somehow Anthony's swing looks slow because we know how much he has in the tank. And Isaac's looks pretty full to me, like he's trying to kind of send it up there. It's the rare few that have to take something off there.
And that's the
on
length.
That shot.
That's the length of Barella's limb as well, right?
Yeah.
His arm is so long that even at slower arm speed, the disc speed is still way up there.
So Ricky a little too straight here. I think that's the common mistake we see on this hole is guys trying to do a little too much with shot 1. Most important to work left like Calvin has done. The fairway, like I said, pretty forgiving for Nevin. So if you can line yourself up, fairway driver in your hand on shot 2, no big deal. You can get down there and generate a putt. So that is spectator rope that we saw Chris creeping towards, not an OB line, so he's going to be safe.
Yeah, you see the white stakes down behind him? That is where the OB is. So as you go farther left, you can find the out of bounds.
Was it last year we were playing that one as a 5 where they had to cross that OB area at some point with the much longer pin location? So
yeah, they brought it back into the Ricky Wysocki, Tour Championship title location. As this was hole 18 2 years ago.
Earlier, we heard Buhr talking about how he's been slipping, and so that's why you're seeing maybe a little extra effort here to make sure that he has good connection to the ground, and hopefully that will eliminate any issues he's been having.
Yeah, this is an important shot, I think, to steady himself, reassure himself that he's in control of what's going on here in this tournament. Was well thrown, but just a little too much heat. Didn't drag off of that tree. That looked to me like if it could have started hyzering just a hair earlier, it's headed right where you want it.
Ezra throwing a 2nd on 6.
Big drive to get there.
If this can flex back, it looks great. Wow, the wind is really affecting it.
What a shot. Are you kidding me? Wow. That is 450.
One of the best shots we've seen ever here. I'm going to go new candidate. Shot of the day. That is fantastic.
Incredible.
The way the wind was affecting it as well, for it to come up and hit the bottom of the basket.
I don't really expect to see that many guys in circle 2 on that hole, much less bullseye.
I mean, let's put it this way. There's been quite a few players that have played that hole. There's only been one birdie. That's Proctor.
Wow.
So not only is he parked, but it's a hole that not that many players are birdieing. Pretty great shot from Ezra.
Oh, and Barella, one tree to beat. Perhaps his focus was a little farther down the fairway on that mistake.
Looking for this to fight back toward the pin. It's a good line. It's going to be short, but at least you'll have a long look.
I think that's about as well as you could possibly do from that spot.
Yeah.
Aggressive standstill shot from Niklas.
Barella now throwing his 3rd after squaring up with the tree on the previous.
Oh, boy.
That, I believe, is going to be out of bounds.
Yeah, I would agree with that statement there, Terry.
There's an OB creek down here that Chris needs to make sure he pulls to the right to avoid. He's doing that for sure.
Third shot by Isaac on the 6th. And right next to the basket, that'll be a tap-in par.
Well, he's still not as close as his brother. That shot from Ezra, I mean, looking at AB's forehand leaking OB right. Think about attacking a basket from 450 or so feet on pure turnover the whole time with OB waiting right. Just the precision and the confidence and the commitment required to hit that shot. I agree with you. Shot of the day so far from what we've seen.
Barella able to walk away with the bogey after going out of bounds. And I was going to say, that all goes back to the approach.
Yeah.
Where he had that crazy mistake of throwing it right into the tree. He had plenty of space, both left and right of the tree, and then it just compounded from there.
And it's just such a huge disappointment. I mean, these are the types of holes that AB needs to take advantage of out here. And not disappointing is the birdie by Ezra.
Bird right next to the pin now for the par. Here's Wysocki. Calvin keeps on parring. This group looking for a little shot of energy. Maybe they'll find it on the 5th. We'll see you there.
Natural disasters affect and uproot people's lives tremendously, and mental and physical health is one of the most important things that we can do as a disc golf community.
Players in Western North Carolina and everyone affected by Helene desperately need some help.
So we have worked to develop a QR code that will take folks to the World Disc Golf Hall of Fame 501c3 website. We're going to create an application system that allows clubs from all the affected states to apply for funding that's going to go towards chainsaw gas and gloves for volunteers and even equipment. Donate as much as you think you can to get people back out and recreating.
At LL Bean, we've been innovating for over a century, making great products better so you can feel better. Day after day, year after year. Outside together since 1912. LL Bean, be an outsider.
Antela teeing on 5. Would like to see this move just a bit left. A little more than that. A little more than that.
And boy, isn't that a great example of the difference between Macbeth, who hit the top of the hill, stopped. That one doesn't, right into the bush. That's, you know, basically a pitch out. It didn't look like Antela went too deep, but I think it's just he's going to have to stick his leg in there and pitch.
It'll be another standstill, most likely.
Yep.
Ricky with a phenomenal drive. Heavy on the hyzer. There is OB left. Stay safe. A little out of position angle-wise, I think, though, to really pierce into the woods on shot 2.
Catching up with Matt Oram.
Let's go.
Matty O buries one.
Clean sheet so far for Matty O. 7 holes played, 2 under par.
This is a powered by Naqua moment. Naqua giving us lifestyle power, and Matty O has plenty of lifestyle out there, bringing it left and right all year long.
I like how he took the putt in kind of hyzer, but then he took his body big wide.
Yeah, big
hyzer.
wide Annie. Just got to explore all the lines out there on the course.
Isaac exploring the perfect line.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good luck doing that 4 times in a row. I mean, this is exactly what we were talking about. He's not that deep, but imagine if he goes 2 feet more.
Oh, yeah. Then
you
all
can't
of a sudden,
get in.
You're throwing a little forehand roller.
Right, you're just trying to crawl in from the other side.
At least here he can advance 150 feet maybe.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
But it's just with them extending this basket back last year, it puts such a premium on trying to gain at least another 300 on the second shot. And even then, the angle back to the pin is so difficult.
First available for Heimberg. Essentially, going to be trying to save par most likely from there.
And I just want everybody at home to recognize, too, these tall stakes on the left side of your screen. There is an out of bounds that runs the left side of the fairway. There's an OB that's right up by the basket. They tend not to come crazy into play, but just something to mention.
Oram teeing on 8. We saw the birdie putt a moment ago. See if he can keep it rolling.
462 straight as an arrow here.
Oh, he likes this. Oh, yeah.
Wow, long. Nice shot.
So, Matty O in that Chris Dickerson group. It's the 3rd card.
Look at that drive from Wysocki. Nearly in the woods off the tee.
Brian, does Heimberg have a look to the pin? Can he get all the way there from where he's at?
It would have to be a pretty wild angle. Being pinched off on that left side gives you very little. He can take a really tight inside line on the left, but there's just a bunch of tiny gaps if you try that. He is going for it, and it does not pay off for him. That's rough. It was a good try, but just didn't get executed this time.
Wow, so very little forward progress and out of bounds.
Yeah, I was going to mention there that you can see these posts. And right where he went OB, it starts to bubble out more to the left and the fairway widens up. But he took the insanely aggressive line that any left kick was going to be OB. You can see how he's in this this is where it starts to go left. And then that's where the fairway widens up. So he wasn't too far from getting in bounds.
So I'll follow it up with the same question, Brian. Now what is he looking at?
You can't really get to the pin where he's at. He's too pinched off. He's going to have to just throw some sort of hyzer with something neutral, get down the fairway and get up and down. I'd be blown away if he gave himself a putt.
Yeah, obviously, easy to say in hindsight, but the risk-reward calculation just doesn't feel quite right for me from there for Heimberg. He already made the poor shot hitting the first tree on shot 2. Par is not the end of the world. And he goes for that, trying to cut the corner right next to the out of bounds, and now it could be a big number. I mean, it will be a big number, let's be honest.
Yeah, I like the idea from where he was trying to visualize the perfect spot to land down there out at that 200-ish, 180-foot mark, and then put work there. That way, the worst you get is a bogey. You don't bring double into play. I mean, we're clearly looking at a potential double here.
Yeah, that seems like the most likely
Yeah,
score.
and there's even a crazy outside chance for a triple. But that seems, because you can see where he's pointing. The pin is way over here to the left.
Yeah.
He needs to pitch down to the right and do the same thing he should have done the previous shot. Find the spot and then make the upshot and walk away with the double. Taking advantage of the relief in the line of play. Backed himself up a little bit. He's going to have a better angle.
I don't know what it's like to have the kind of arm talent Calvin Heimberg has, so, decision-making might look a little different for him than me, but, man, I sure like the live to fight another day philosophy in that situation.
Barella threads the needle. That'll give him a look for birdie. Isaac seems to have some bigger gaps to work with, and it'll pay off.
I mean, Isaac threw the perfect shot to where he was lined up with that right side gap, able to throw just a slower flying disc.
Yeah, you might not see anybody make that birdie look more obvious all week. Like
Yeah.
just kind of turning it to the spot and then kind of almost looks like a little lazy swing right to the basket. Like what else could happen? Of course he's making birdie. Just a beautiful drive.
I think we're kind of seeing here why it's so critical on 5 to not just go full power, but really think about the landing zone. Because if you are in the fairway, it's relatively open.
I just think Buhr is playing the hole the right way. It's obviously you need to hit the fairway on your drive. And then I think shot 2 is about hitting the initial gap, making progress. then you can roll the dice a little on shot 3. Your par is pretty safe at this point. You're probably 700 feet down a 1,000-foot hole. Then you can go for these little gaps. See if you can make a birdie happen. Nice putt from Dickerson.
Oram downhill after going deep past the pin. And he'll collect his 3rd birdie in 4 holes. Matty-O trying to get something rolling.
Like a tide?
Something like that as Heimberg's ready to be done with this hole. And he'll still have a putt of a little length coming back.
Look, our lead card worked all season to gain that stroke advantage, and it's pretty much gone for most of them now. The way that some of the guys are playing a little further into the course. Niklas playing the best up here. But I think a lot of birdies being made farther into the course.
Yeah, I mean, we've caught nearly every shot from the world champion Isaac Robinson, and he hasn't been that far off on many of them at all.
Yeah.
Nevin, a little bit more wooded than, say, W.R. Jackson, but Isaac winning his first major title last year at the Champions Cup. Clearly a very proficient woods disc golfer coming from Georgia.
And rewarded with the birdie after that incredible drive.
Long birdie look here for Ganon.
So Barella not able to capitalize. He's going to have a par on the 7th. Back to Antala. Downhill slope, deep in circle 2. Hangs it out wide enough. We've seen all too often something pop a disc up, whether it's the pedestal below the basket or whatever, catch just an edge and then roll to 40 or 50 feet away. And I know Antala was thinking about that at that moment.
Yeah, that's a great view of that slope down towards the parking lot.
It's so subtle, but it has burned so many players. Usually they're coming in with a hyzer from long range, and then it pops up at the very end, catches an edge, and rolls down. That's often how it happens, but it has burned player after player for the last 2 years out here.
I think I was distracted by what was going on with Calvin, and I don't know if I gave Niklas the due he deserved for that 3rd. Remember, he was in a bush pitching a putter around the corner, and he still found a way to get a C2 birdie putt. What a shot through the woods from where he put himself.
Buhr now has back-to-back pars. Isaac, a co-leader with Antala. That's going to be a long look for Isaac Robinson and Perkins. You're out there with the chase card. What are you seeing, maybe even specifically from Isaac Robinson?
Yeah, I'm seeing a man who is really comfortable on the tee pad here. And, you know, even with the 4-stroke advantage that Ganon had, I really feel like Isaac came into this Tour Championship as the favorite. Here he is putting across the creek there. Kind of an unfortunate break there. But yeah, Terry, Isaac just knows exactly where his discs are landing, and there's so many pushing hyzers out here and late flipping backhands.
Certainly comfortable, as you're saying there, Perks, as we're watching Orem tee on 9.
Ricky hates it out of his hand, so most likely it's dead center fairway perfect, about 480.
Yeah, I think, yeah, just a little pulled. Obviously, he knows the farther right you are, even if you clear that last tree, it becomes just that much more difficult to reach the basket.
Yeah, sure. He wanted it more aggressive, tighter to the Mando tree.
Yeah, and it's interesting because the tighter you take it to this Mando tree that's just over onto his right shoulder, the longer the carry. So the higher, more inside, the OB goes out, takes a hard left, and you have to carry it a lot farther. So it is risky to try to bring that tree into play. But obviously with the power of these fellas, not that big a deal. But we still have seen even power throwers come up short on that inside track.
And that was a really good example of the power of Wysocki with the late release super high, and Antila with pretty much a bullet down the inside, and their discs are right next to each other.
This is what I'm talking about, bringing that left side into play, but pushed it perfectly up the fairway. You know, I'd call it at least 50, 60 feet ahead of where Antila and Wysocki landed. I think that's the first really good shot we've seen from Ganon so far. It's going to be a difficult angle there for Calvin.
And while we're here on the 6th, we can take a look at the Birdie Zone, brought to us by our friends over at Birdie Pro, Disc Golf's #1 selling board game. You could go out to BodaBrothers.com, pick up a copy today, or head to your favorite disc golf retailer or pro shop. If they don't carry Birdie Pro, well, request that they do. Again, Birdie Pro over at BodaBrothers.com.
I think Ganon Buhr potentially in that yellow highlighted area with that drive. Calvin going to be kind of right of it from this perspective, and the other two guys a little bit short.
Orem second.
All downhill from here. Just got to use speed. Very nice. He's going to hit that late, and he just kicks to the left of it. That big log that goes across the green there. Great shot from Matty. If anybody's got the sidearm power, it's going to be Rick. Laced a good one out there, so going to be short though. You know, with the OB so far left, especially up by the green, it really gives these guys an opportunity to try to get, you know, pretty aggressive. And I like the angle here for Antila going to the backhand roller. I think Calvin would have a similar option from his tee shot. That's got to get up though.
Yeah, it's a lot of angle, but looks to be a pretty flippy disc. Needs to continue to curl. Look at it go. Can it fight back? I think maybe.
So that one, there's a tall pole right there. That's the corner, and then it starts to drift left. So walking a very fine line there for Antila.
Me?
All right, so Ganon didn't gain as much distance as I thought over the other two. Just a way better angle.
late flip roller.
That's got to get down.
That's going to track to the OB.
Might have hit the post. We're going to have to see. Come on, spotter.
Still looking for it. I think that's going to indicate out of bounds. It's right below you, buddy.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe we're to his right. But either way, it's going to be a red flag OB for Ganon Buhr. I was going to ask about that before they were throwing, and I thought, no, I'll just be quiet and let's see how this plays out. But the fact that if you put it up too quickly, just like we saw with Ganon, up and over that hillside, it's just going to carry right out of bounds.
Yeah, probably the smart landing zone is a little left of this pin if you can pull it off. You don't really want to mess with that downslope. Calvin a little long and left. Safe.
And it also seems like this is the one scenario where they've given the players a bailout zone up by the pin. Like most courses where Calvin just landed is OB.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly last weekend it would have been. And in years past it has been on that very hole.
Wow. Way.
Wow. That was absolute. The chains are definitely not moving here. He thought he missed it. Well, he thought he made it. Then he thought he missed it when it hit the front rim. Wow.
I was going to call a balk, and then I was thinking, no, it's got to be, what, a false start? Or what is this for Matty?
That's an offsides. That's an offsides.
Look at that.
Either way, that's 4 of his last 5. Guess he just needed the cameras to show up. Matty O putting on a show for us.
Yeah, and Matty O is very comfortable in the woods. I mean, he's a great wooded player. His big win at the MVP Open last year.
Slow start here for Wysocki.
Yeah, and it kind of seemed as if Rick had kind of accepted the par back after the tee shot, knowing he couldn't get all the way to the basket.
I think that's most likely the proper play. Day
It's
one
smart.
of a 4-rounder.
Yeah.
When you're sitting in a good spot.
Boy, Ganon might just be completely stymied by this bush ahead of him. It seems like he'd want to stretch out right, but I don't think he's going to be able to due to the out of bounds. Yeah, he's double stymied. Just has to lay it up. The next bush beyond that one. Going to take Buhr into a tie for 7th place.
Happens fast, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We head to the 10th. 333. Obvious fairway, straight up the middle, playing slightly uphill. And short and left for Matty O. See if he can keep the putter going.
Yeah, I don't think Matt's interested in C1. I think he wants to keep giving us highlights. Tricky lie. Kind of overdrove the landing zone there.
Yeah, and obviously the lack of that many sidearms for Isaac, that's going to be a tough swing because I don't know if he's going to have a backhand arm swing with how close he is to that tree. Yeah, 10 is one of, if not the easiest hole on the course.
And another forehand by Robinson. Isaac, this is the second we've seen this round.
It's going to still be shy of where Matty-O was, but a makeable look. It is downhill from there. Jump over to Calvin, see if he can save his par.
Ganon in for bogey is going to drop him to 7 under.
And just think, this group has 4 birdies amongst the 4 guys. Isaac Robinson has 4 birdies on his own.
And Oram really just pitching it up. Must have had a low ceiling or some of those branches taking him out of contention for the birdie look. Dickerson lining up a stepper. And we're going to step aside for just a moment. We're going to take a break on the network. We'll be right back.
Support your disc golf game with a brand new Tritanium sleeve. We import these directly from Finland at high and low compression, or check out their knee or wrist supports. The only place you can get Tritanium in the United States is right here at PowerGripUSA.com.
Discraft built for flight.
Tee of 7, Ricky Wysocki playing the downhill forehand shot. And he's loving that.
Yeah, he's squared up with that right side gap, similar to where we saw Isaac throw from. You can kind of see this fence just up on the left side of your screen here. There is an out of bounds line that runs the entire left side of the fairway.
If this starts to tail left, that's when you start to worry about out of bounds. But Niklas, such good command, keeps it turning almost the entire flight.
The bid from Isaac doesn't connect.
What do you think realistically with Ganon's sidearm? I mean, does he have over 400?
I think certainly if he wants it. I don't think he shows that often. Backhand is so good that often I think he can just go to that, but I would be shocked if I could outthrow him distance-wise.
Yeah.
Like he's just so efficient with his movement and such a powerful player. The arm speed is there on both sides of the body. Yeah.
Macbeth has a birdie luck.
Paul just even on his round so far. As we see Matty-O lining up here on the short, 375 downhill par 311. I just think with Ganon on the last hole, previous hole that he played, why not go with the big sidearm off that second shot? Put yourself out there 50. You make a lot of those.
Sure.
and again, I'm not questioning Ganon because I fully trust his decision making, but he brought that OB into play. Shout out to Casey White, 6 under par on today's round, same as Evan Smith. Those are the 2 best rounds we're seeing on the course. They've really made some good work. This is Casey White and I believe Evan Smith's first opportunities to play in a Tour Championship. And they're both taking advantage at the moment of 15 spots.
Yeah, both of them came in 2 under par, so to speak, and then have now added 6 more birdies. All right, we're watching Robinson. Perks, what are you seeing?
We've seen a pretty good kick there from Isaac into circle 1, or at least at the edge of it.
I'm good.
So this is where Calvin went out of bounds. There's that line, you can see it.
Kind of probably going to lose some of it.
And now we'll take a look at James Proctor's scorecard. He is 6 under for today. He came in with a 4-stroke advantage, so to speak, and now sits at 10 under as a total.
Yeah, and you can see a few of those birdies. The ones on 4, 8, and 12 have all been bullseye hits, so that's some good work there. He's perfect putting inside the circle.
And now we can look at our Innova hot rounds. And we were just referencing most of these gentlemen, Proctor, White, and Smith, all 6 under for today's round, tacking on to the starting strokes that they were given. Isaac sitting at 4 under along with Orem and Corey Ellis. Corey Ellis just barely making it into the Tour Championship as the story we watched over the last few weekends during our playoff events. So Corey Ellis 4 under as he started at an even with no starting strokes here this weekend. Great shot by Antala.
Yeah, beautiful shot. I think that's just going to do incredible things for those guys and their energy level and their excitement about this event, because it's a long season. We talk about it a lot. You're coming right off the back of the United States Championship Major. All year you're chasing points. You're trying to accumulate points for this. You're trying to make it into the cash, make the cut. All these guys have already made the cash. Everyone's getting paid. Nobody's getting any points. So I think in this tournament, you need to be up in contention. You need to be moving in a positive direction to keep your mental engagement where it needs to be to have a chance to take that big payout home. Those guys doing themselves some huge favors, coming from the outside looking in, showing up in a big way today is going to put them in the conversation really fast, especially because this first card has been slow out of the gates.
Yeah, Ganon coming up with a big shot there, putting it pretty much in drop-in birdie range.
Wysocki just looking for his 2nd birdie of the round. Can he set himself up here? Well, he's going to need to do it with a lengthy putt, if so. We hear the frustration from Wysocki. Brian, I'm going to throw it out to you and just ask, is there anything you might be picking up collectively from this group that seems to not be performing to their standards.
Frankly, Terry, I'm picking up that Nevin is just one of those courses. I kind of heard it across the board from players throughout the week that you're not going to play a full weekend here, especially 4 rounds, and feel like you got away unscathed. I think this is just what's happening to these 4 players. This course is insanely specific and technical, and it's whoever makes the adjustments and moves forward for 3 more rounds, and that's who's going to win this tournament.
And, you know, we say that a lot about the MVP Open, which was the last tournament that we played on tour before the USDGC. And I think Brian is exactly right. You just have to try to get through your bad rounds. You have to accept. And that's a nice putt there by Ricky, and trying to turn it around on rounds 2, 3, and 4, or even mid-round here. Try to find a little momentum as we head towards the back 9. Rick's done that here nicely.
Yeah, and that takes Ricky to 2 under. I mean, that's not bad through 7. And Niklas looking good to go to 3 under. And I would say Niklas, if he is able to convert, that's right on pace. That's in a position to be right where those guys up the board are as he works through the course to 14 and 15, where the guys that are 6 under currently are.
And, you know, Calvin, though, has 0 birdies and is now down into a tie for, I believe, 18th. So he needs to quickly make some birdies.
Otherwise, his final 3 rounds will have to be like his final round at the USDGC. Wow, left side. He gets that one to drop. All too often, you're watching Robinson follow it in to the left side, but it ultimately drops in for birdie.
Got a good thing coming, and it's all I need. Everything I wanted is in front of me. It's a good, good. Good, good thing.
You're looking at a work of art. No, it's not the Mona Lisa. But this beautiful can costs a lot less and looks magnificent in your bathroom. And Mona Lisa can't give you a smooth, close shave. Barbasol. It's a can of can-do.
Some of my favorite discs in my bag are the A-Series discs. They're the ones I lean on to get close to the basket. These are torque-resistant discs, provide a consistent fade at the end of the flight. The best way to find your flight is to get out and use these discs yourself.
Coming in nice and low, just trying to play the skip on the downhill slope.
Just perfection from Robinson there. That's a scary shot. Speed control so important as it drops off extremely steep behind the basket. Robinson getting off to the best start we've seen today. Good
Rick
shot
will
from
have
Rick.
Yeah, uphill putt, clean look for birdie. Rick now has 2 of the last 3.
Of the really good rounds that are farther up the course, this is where we start to see the birdies start to pick up. We're starting to see runs of birdies, 6, 7, 8. Proctor birdied 6, 7, 8, parred 9, and then went birdies on 10, 11, 12. So this is where these guys can start to make some good shots, feel like they can start making some birdies, and that's a great one there for Montola. Kind of help solidify what Brian was talking about. That's a great shot. About not having 2 rounds of the same. Joel Freeman, there was a tournament here, 2 weeks ago. Joel shot a 12.
Yeah.
In the final round or
yes,
penultimate
final round?
Final round. Today, Joel Freeman won over.
I think it's a slightly different layout, but a lot of the holes must be shared. And that was just an incredible round by Joel. He came into the round, I think, tied for the lead and ended up winning the thing by 9.
Yeah.
If he can find some of that, he could undo a lot of what a 1 over does for him today. Clearly shown he has the ability to go low.
Proctor for birdie. Right side, just barely over the rim.
Wow. 4 in a row.
Roll it again, take another look. Well, excitement there from Proctor, understandably so. And just before that, you saw our one-shot energy replay. We can use code DGPT for 25% off at oneshotenergy.com. And there's Proctor's scorecard, picking up 7 of the last 8.
And I want you to see here, holes 2 and 4 were both circle 2 saves for par. So I would think of everybody, Proctor probably putting the best. That needs to
this
sit.
is really dangerous.
Kind of hit a couple of roots. Didn't go as far as it could have. Could have easily been all the way down by his brother.
I mean, one of the most costly greens to miss a putt on. Did not see that coming from Isaac. He was really starting to get the momentum going. See if he can clutch up here and save a par. Well, nice
Come
and easy.
on.
Didn't take much time, did it?
It was so casual.
Big hyzer putt.
That putt looked like he was putting for a 10 on a par 3. And he just whatever. I'm just going to knock this thing down. It's only 10 feet above my head.
Calvin,
There's a birdie.
First birdie of the round for him.
Don't see that often. Ricky Wysocki from 20.
And Antala becomes your outright leader. Ganon chipping away at some of the over par strokes he's accumulated, and Wysocki be frustrated.
Ricky was already frustrated. That's just going to add to it.
That's a good point. As we take a look at our international players at the Tour Championship, Antala, as we just mentioned, out in front. He's currently leading Jakub Samarad from the Czech Republic, Simon Lizotte, Bino Makula, who had a great performance just last weekend as well, and Jesse Niemanen, who qualified by winning over at the Copenhagen Open. So some significant international superstars that we have here, which has become very much the norm on our Disc Golf Pro Tour, and love to see it. It's been happening on the FPO side even longer, it feels like. A little pinball action for Proctor, and isn't punished too bad. It's going to be just off the fairway on the left side. Buhr likes it.
Still good, even with that last tree hit.
I think there's an advantage to the sidearm on the initial flight as you're moving right, but the backhand generally can land in a better spot overall, just because it can, if you get that proper turn, it can finish straight versus Ganon on the far right side of the fairway. I think initially you think, yeah, I want to throw the sidearm. It's going to work right. But overall, that shot probably has a better angle to the green for Calvin. It's not that long of a par 4, only 580.
A little bit of OB right behind the basket, though. That'll make you think a little bit on the approach shot, especially if you're out of position. You need to bring some height, try to glide something down there. You see a lot of guys come up pretty short, not only because there's that big log there, but also, I think, protecting against the mistake of out of bounds.
Wow, look at how long that flew.
Oh, yeah, and stopped right when it needed to.
That was... Isaac was in a nearly perfect position and gets through on the right side. Any new names on here? Not really. Chris Dickerson kind of making a birdie, coming back up. Barilla hanging in there. He's down a couple of spots, but not bad.
And we're going to take a look at the purse here for this weekend. Remember, it's equal on both the FPO and MPO side, but our champion on Sunday afternoon will be getting a check for $35,000. Second place for $20,000, third place $12,000, and fourth place $9,000. Every player that qualified here this weekend is getting at least $2,000 just for making it into our championship weekend. So impressive to see. And thank you to our friends at Barbasol.
Yikes. That's way off on the right side.
Gonna test those scramble skills. I mean, think about things from James Proctor's perspective. He's coming into this tournament thinking, wow, 6 shots back from Buhr. This is going to be tough. And then an hour and a half later, he's made them up. I mean, it's a whole new world for James Proctor now. A huge part of the conversation, what he's done so far. I mean, I figure you got to be thinking, oh, incrementally, man, I'm just outplay him by a little bit. Maybe by day 4, I can be up on the top of the leaderboard. Incredible to do it in less than 1 round. I don't know finish, but I'm guessing that means it's going to hit that stupid log.
Or what are you doing, man? Depends on the translation.
Yeah, I feel like he just knew it was low, undercommitted. And that's what's tough about that, the location of that log, because the OB is waiting for you if you're too high.
Yeah, and we saw what happened when you hit the log and you're even with it. That's where Matty O putted from. Had a little jump putt. It's really hard to guide it down there and just miss that. Like, you want to land at that log, but sliding.
Yeah, around the outside of it. Calvin's worried about the height. Looks like he got a tree kick to save him.
And I think the reason Calvin didn't go to the backhand there is because he was kind of hemmed up. That big tree was not allowing to swing to where he needed to go. That was a risky sidearm from Calvin.
Nice little touch forehand from Proctor to escape. So this is that skipping forehand drive from Buhr. I think what you said, Nate, holds true. He can't even really see the log from here.
Yeah, and he's thinking about throwing an overhand.
Yeah, trying to skip something down the hill, potentially.
And again, this is where I could see Buhr making the adjustment as we head down the weekend. I mean, throwing a backhand here on 9. I just think if you're at the top of the hill, at least you have the angle.
I think the height is your friend here. He could still do something pretty special with this shot.
Oh, yeah.
Not bad.
That's Matty O territory. And when you're Ganon Buhr and you putt like he does, you make that 6 out of 10 times.
Proctor for par.
Scramble achieved. Well done there from off the fairway.
And let's take a look at Proctor's year as he picked up the win at the MVP Open. His worst finish was 61st at Music City, and certainly the memorable moment is taking down that MVP Open with a putt from the drop zone on the final hole of competition to keep to avoid a playoff with Paul Macbeth. And his total cash at $38,851, looking to add significantly to that this weekend.
Might as well double it, James.
Yeah.
Pretty close with that 35,000 winning share.
He also had another win on the Pro Tour over in Europe.
And Robinson, with that, will tie up with Antala.
So he fixes the putting woes pretty quickly. After the big miss on the previous hole. Here's Antala. Can't get that aggressive. You can see the OB line down there, those tall stakes. So we're getting word that Ricky has already pitched out. Remember, he was way to the right. He's just pitched out. He's in circle 2. See the 2 discs right here. Left side's Buhr, right side's Rick.
And Rick for par.
Yeah, exactly.
These other two still looking at birdie.
Yep. It's got to sit. That's trickling. And it does. Nice.
Wysocki to save par. Time and time again, nobody scrambles like Ricky Wysocki.
And I want to say what a beautiful camera angle just to watch the commitment of Ricky here. It was so high, and there's all this danger behind, but he's just putted a million times, and he's so confident. Great putt there from Ricky.
Almost the exact same distance for Buhr. Doesn't grab any metal.
And edge a circle.
At least 10 meters coming back now for Buhr. no problem with the par cleanup for both Heimberg and Buhr. Antila will follow suit. So a par frame throughout, which I don't think is what we would have anticipated after seeing those drives. Keeping it exciting. Here's Robinson, TF13.
Well, I think holes like the one we just played and the one that Isaac just played, those are great examples of Nevin holes where you can throw good shots, but you might still be trying to just save par. The angles, turning in the fairway, things like that.
And we're taking a look at hole number 10 with our Flight Factory flyover. Thanks to our friends over at flightfactorydisc.com.
It's one of the easier holes on the course. Almost dead straight, just a hair to the left, fairly generous fairway width. You do have some OB long, though it doesn't come into play very often thanks to the fact that it is significantly uphill. Most players are going to go firm mid-range or a little bit more controlled fairway driver here and see if they can just find the middle of the fairway and slide something up close.
Watching Antila go right up the middle. And a great shot by Antila. And if you head over to flightfactorydisc.com, you get 15% off everything on their site all weekend long to celebrate the DGPT Championship. No code required at checkout.
So the only hole that's playing slightly easier than 10 is 15. So this hole averaging under par 0.28 and 15 averaging under par 0.29. So basically a coin flip as far as must-get birdies for the field.
Speaking of the 15th, chance to look at it right here with James Proctor.
Honestly,
count
that's
it.
Great shot.
On fire right now.
Yeah. On paper, 10 is a lot easier than 15. I just think that there's been some really good play here on 15 today.
Yep.
And on 15, if you're slightly off, bogey comes into play.
Right.
On 10, I mean, you need to throw a really bad shot. You can still bogey it, but on 15, bogey certainly is available on any given tee shot.
And that's the on paper statement. But today, the statistics tell us we've actually seen more bogeys on 10 than we have on 15.
What are these guys doing out there?
I think that's going to normalize as the week goes on. I would expect this hole to give up roughly half birdies to this field, maybe even a little more.
Yeah. 43% so far today.
Okay.
And James Proctor in for birdie.
What a round.
He is 8 under and currently tied for the lead at 12 under, along with Robinson and Antila.
This course finish is very difficult, those last 3, but if he can continue to play that confident, pick up another birdie or two, he might find himself sleeping on the lead.
All right, you got it.
I doubt he would have predicted anything near that kind of success, being 6 back to start the day.
Plenty of effort from Buhr, but not on the right line, so he'll still have 25 feet for the par. not really an angle in which Heimberg can even attack from. And remember when we saw Matty O pitching up, I think Matty O was in a similar spot. And from that angle, you could see just how difficult it was, which is why it was just a pitch up to the basket. Wysocki has a lane, and it doesn't look like height should be an issue. It's just a matter of which lane he wants to take. He's going to go a little wider here. Looking for his third birdie, and he gets it. Ricky Wysocki from deep.
Do you realize how many of these you have to make for you to go back-to-back? 50-footer for par down the hill at OB, nail it. Make another one, just sort of a calm wave, not even crack a smile. Another day at the office for Ricky Wysocki. Just incredible the level he brings on the putting green. Wow. No medal for Antila from in the circle.
Yeah, that was a chance for the outright lead. And assuming he makes this on the comeback, that means we'll have a 4-way tie for first at 12 under.
Yeah, I think that tree, the fact that he had to straddle around it, I think that's why we saw the pull on the putt. About 18 feet coming back here.
Well, maybe it was a grip issue as he was looking down at his hand. Maybe something going on there that he was contemplating from the previous putt, or like you said, it could have just been the outstretch that he had. Either way, Antila tied for first at 12 under, and Buhr is going to have to settle for a par. He's 3 back of our leaders.
You can start to see the gap build up here. We got 4 guys at 12 under. Next closest is 9.
We head to the 16th. Co-leader James Proctor.
I think 16 is a candidate for one of the most difficult par 3s on tour.
You like that? Opening shot, though, right down the middle. Super demanding gap, uphill, really a long way to the basket on 16.
Yeah, but I mean, no chance to birdie, right?
Yeah, but I don't even.
You just go.
Doesn't bother me at all. I mean, I think he would love a birdie, but
yeah,
you know, hitting that gap, you're celebrating.
And that's why I kind of put it in that candidacy of
yes,
you know, top 5 most difficult par 3s.
Could probably put 14 in that conversation as well on this course.
True.
That's pulled right for Wysocki.
This is a difficult scrambling hole. We've talked a lot about his skills, but you're not going to have the same opportunity to play speed control with that super steep hill behind the basket. Now all of a sudden you've got to throw some kind of overhand, or you're pitching out. It's like the rollaway is just amplified when you don't have the opportunity to take that smooth putter. This has plenty of height. Can it slow down? Well, that's one way.
the bank, what, tree to stand to then finally slowing down on the hillside.
I mean, I think that keeps him in the conversation for birdie. I think without that tree, as good as that shot was, without that tree, it's outside circle 2, down at the bottom of the hill.
I mean, I really like taking a relatively stable putter here and working it off this left side. A little bit of twist at the end. That was nearly perfect. He just was a little bit right of the initial line.
Proctor still has work to do.
Yeah. Remember, par 3. So let's get up and down and save his par here. Asking it to slow down. It does nicely.
Robinson can take the outright lead here with a birdie.
No doubt.
Yes. The stepper is good. Robinson 7 under for today's round. Bogey free. He goes to 13 under, 1 clear of Proctor, Antala, and Wysocki.
And I would say of all the players out there, the one guy that could theoretically shoot 4 rounds out here of crazy low scores is this man right here. I mean, you can see he's the world champion. His worst finish there at the Music City Open. And, you know, he's the back-to-back world champion. I think that says everything you know about Isaac Robinson.
He loves playing in the woods. There's no doubt about that. As he's also collected $65,000. Be a fun number to get to. Add $35,000 on top of that. 35 and change, just barely getting over that 6-figure number for the year. I don't think he'd be complaining about that whatsoever.
Very few people in the history of the game have been in that rarefied air of 100,000 PDGA dollars in one season, and all of those people have been in the last 3 seasons.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of as soon as Barbasol came into the old Tour Championship. Numbers started to get pretty big.
Oram looks to have been off the mark on the 14th, but he's got a long look for birdie. You have to settle for par. And after going deep of the pin, here's what Heimberg has coming back up.
I don't understand how that didn't hit anything. It looked online.
I agree. Yeah, it was like, how did it not hit basket, chain? It's the hair right.
Proctor, successful scramble to save the par. He remains at 12 under, 1 off of the lead. Antala looking for a share of the lead. He can get it with a birdie here.
This is such an important putt right here, because if you miss this, this is rolling down behind you, most likely.
Wow. Catches the backside. Stays in for Antala. Co-leader. We head to the tee of 17 with James Proctor. Got to get out of the gap. Pretty nice looking drive coming from Proctor there.
Yeah, getting that far left is pretty incredible. Going to really improve his angle to work around the corner to the green.
And we're seeing 8 under for the round so far. You've caught up with him for the last few holes, Perkins. What have you been seeing by James Proctor?
Yeah, same thing we see all year from Proctor. I mean, he's just out there, he's relaxed, he doesn't have any expectations, and Evelina shot hot this morning and she's out there hanging with them, and just one of the smoothest guys in the woods. And I think he came into this event with 0 expectations, and I think he's going to be shocked when he finishes this round.
Thank you, Perkins. And it's been great to watch him as he's been lighting things up all the way going back to hole number 4. He's got a string of 3 birdies in a row and a string of 4 birdies in a row. And we'll see how he can close out.
Yeah, and we should just mention, I mean, he was 1 over through 3 holes. It's like, you might be thinking, oh boy, it's not going to be a good day. I'm playing Nevin, but he has, Perkins just explained, has stayed calm, very loose, and made a lot of great shots.
Was that last year or 2 years ago? We watched an Adam Hammis, I think, take maybe an early bogey and then go on to string together 10 or 12 birdies throughout the rest of his round. And then the next day came back and, shot somewhere around par. I mean, that's exactly what you guys have been saying. Just to duplicate good efforts at Nevin is nearly impossible. But the birdies are there if you're on. Not quite clean enough.
Yeah, Isaac's trying to work that one off the left side of the fairway, working back right. He pulled it immediately. Here's Proctor.
So much out of bounds here on 17. Looks like he's got plenty of turn on this. Oh, I don't think I like that. Cut rolls back into the out of bounds. We'll see if he gets the cross.
It looked like that spotter was giving it to him. Do you see how Paul worked that one off the left side of the fairway, just twisting it up to flat and finishing with that straight skip? Very nice shot from Paul.
Yeah, and a lot of hyzer out of the hand, too, because that's going to extend the time where that disc can stay straight.
Yeah.
Beautiful job working with a flippy disc, making it do his bidding and go right down that dead straight fairway. Best shot we've seen so far on 14.
It's hard to not try to overcorrect on a shot like this for Antila, and he doesn't. It goes left. A lot of times there you see players kind of trying to overcorrect and yanking it way right. That one just out early for Antila.
And a bad kick left. He's still got a lot of distance to deal with, and he's going to be off the fairway.
Able to pitch back out to the fairway.
That'll help Ganon Buhr. Slowly but surely, kind of working his way back into this thing.
Yeah, he's got to bridge the gap. But obviously started at 10 down, so a bad day is still close. Oh boy, this looks great.
Nice. Yeah, nice shot.
The rollout didn't appear to hurt either. Now Ezra Robinson with a look on the 14th from 53 feet. Trying to dig deep and find something that's going to work for him. That brings him to 1 under on the round. And his brother picking up the par after a scramble out of the left side.
So James did not get the cross all the way to the green here. Wow, what an effort to save the par.
So close. In fact, a close shave by Barbasol, I would say, as he's off the top band. Oh, it looked like it was going to carry straight into the chains for him. Antila trying to get creative from left side and forward progress back out into the fairway, but looks like a bogey is coming up for Antila.
Yeah, I mean, Antila is in a scenario where he's absolutely forced to just play for bogey. He's so far back, there's zero chance to try to run it. You can't even take a little kind of throw-in stab at it because it's all sloping downhill from here. He's going to have to throw a great shot just to get up and down. It's a very touchy shot because you could easily pull it just a little bit, and those trees on the right come into play, and those are outside circle. I mean, so he's got to try to work one kind of straight, but you can try to overcorrect and maybe hit early trees left as well. It's going to take a good one here.
Whoa, that's not it.
Those are those trees that we were just referencing. Outside circle still, double potential here for Antila.
Just didn't have the hyzer it needed. Got to trust the stand-up and send it down the middle.
We head to the 15th. So playing pretty easy today.
We saw Proctor go up the middle. Isaac's showing us the other option, turnover gap, but he overcooks that a bit, takes a big kick up left.
Rick was watching it. He knew he gave it a chance, but wide right. A double bogey from Antila will drop him to 11 under. What a beautiful shot.
What an understable disc. I mean, he threw that with so much hyzer and just twisted right. Great shot.
So Proctor picks up the bogey on the 17th. He's now at 11 under, 2 off our leaders.
He's got to just try to get out here to this corner. He's done a nice job. We're out on a soccer field, so it's hard to kind of picture the hole, but you got to kind of just throw it straight, and then you got to go around all the way to the pin.
Good effort from Heimberg there, but things just not going his way so far on day one.
Waisaki able to clean up. Ganon in for the birdie. That'll get him back to 10 under as a total, which is where he started his day. And they're going to move on, so we're going to stand down for just a few moments, and we'll see you on the other side of this break.
Tone technology by Clash Discs.
And of course, we've got the Discraft ESP Jawbreaker Drive. Only 400 available now. 2024 DGPT Championship Edition. Head on over to the Disc Golf Pro Tour Pro Shop, dgpt.com/shop. We'll get you there. Says 400. There might be a few less if I beat you guys over to the site.
Yeah, I was going to say, Terry, I mean, how many are you buying? What's in your cart right now?
Great forward slide.
You know, playing a course like Nevin, and really almost all the courses in Charlotte, takes some restraint. I mean, the hole's only 630 feet. You're thinking, oh man, I just got to throw a big one down there, and I could probably get my birdie. But you have to play the hole as it's given. Put it down there, throw it about 300 feet, and you still got to put it in a good spot to try to make birdie. Nice tee shot from Matty O. Edge of circle.
It always hurts a little worse on such a tough hole. You've done so well to get there, to not be able to cash that in and write a birdie down.
So this is a great view. Proctor did not get to the corner. You can see how that corner comes around. The biggest tee shots get all the way out down into there. And so smart play by Proctor early in the tournament, putting himself in position from there. He's going to still have quite a ways left to the basket, but a better chance to make par.
Ooh, nice little correction late for Niklas. A really well thrown drive with a sweet little bounce on the end. I think that's position A on hole 13. That's exactly where you want to put it.
Yeah, McBeast just at even par on his round today. That's going to be short. Getting onto that high side, that's where we saw Ricky make that big one last year.
All the way up there.
Proctor on 18.
Yikes.
Enough to make you hold your breath.
I mean, he came shockingly close to that pole right there. In fact, when he, and that's a mandatory, by the way, you have to go left of it. When he initially threw it, I thought he's going to miss the pole, or, you know, the Mando.
Yeah, very late release.
And barely stayed in bounds.
Lucky that putter's not a week older.
Exactly. Yeah, a week out at Nevin older.
Sure.
I think last week all my discs just got more stable as the week went on, and I got tireder.
Yeah, man. I know how that goes.
Is that a word? Tireder? I don't think so.
I don't think quite. It's very close.
That's a Nate Dossism right there.
Nice little kick for Ganon.
So hard. It's really just good to even have a putt.
Calvin Heimberg along with caddy Zach Melton discussing the options.
That might be a record for most putters in the top of a disc golf bag right there.
What is that, 7?
It's a lot.
Oh, I thought you were going to say a record for curliest hair between caddy and player. Caddy-player combo there. Almost pulled it right into the basket. He said he pulled it a little bit, but he should be happy with the result. Tickles Chains was looking to extend his lead to 2 over the rest of the field. Doesn't quite grab enough.
Now I'm understanding why there was so much self-talk with Rick. He's got a long way left here. Not the easiest putt to make, but at least he's inside the circle 1. He's sitting on no bogeys today. He's scrambled well so far.
And Robinson is in for the par, keeping the clean scorecard. James Proctor is going to finish out with a 7 under for today's round, bringing his total to 11. And that's currently tied for the hot round along with our leader in Isaac Robinson. Confident putting stroke from Ganon Buhr. He knew it about 2/3 of the way there.
Looking down the leaderboard, got to shout out Aaron Gossage. Birdie, birdie, birdie on 16, 17, 18. Guess the guys know it's possible now, but what a finish that is on those difficult holes.
Impressive scramble there from Kelvin Heimberg after that forehand. He was concerned of it. Wysocki trying to scramble himself into a par. Antala in for par.
There is the scorecard of Gossage, and you can see that 3 birdies in a row, none of them easy by any means. I think those are some of the hardest holes on the entire course, so he's done himself a lot of favors. Getting those last 3 probably picks you up 5 shots on the field average.
Yeah, it's I would say at least. It's one of those things that you birdie 16, you're like, whoa, that was nice. Then you pop up, get 16 or 17, then you're like, yeah, let's go for it on 18. Here's his year in review.
3rd at the Chess.com Invitational, as well as the MVP Open. Finished 53rd at Worlds, and which was his worst finish of the entire year. Memorable moment was nearly winning the MVP Open, certainly in contention. Currently sitting just a little over $26,000 in earnings so far this year.
Yeah, and over the last 3 seasons, Aaron Gossage has put down some really great efforts and come so close to winning. Obviously, we feel as if he's one of those, handful of guys that 25 should, potentially bring their very first win on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. Beautiful control there from Ganon. Didn't really throw it that hard. Allowed the disc to do the work there.
Yeah, going with something I think a little sharper than what a lot of other players will do, and just trying to get it to flip up to flat, and then once it's already low and on the ground, just kind of riding the skip straight to the pin. Really creative play there by Buhr, and I don't think we see that from a lot of our other MPO players on that particular hole.
That 2-tone red and yellow fairway driver has got to be his favorite disc. You see him using that thing to great effect.
Yeah, I mean, that has more screen time than most all the players on tour. I mean, how much he throws it and how much he's on our lead featured cards.
There you go.
A little worried about an early tree on the right side, but Ricky sneaks it through and it's somehow parked. How's that a hyzer shot?
Good luck doing that ever again. I mean, seriously.
It looked like all hyzer. That makes no sense.
Short and left.
We'll take a look. I mean, so much hyzer. Okay, it did flip up.
But now does it get a great kick at the end?
Yeah, let's
I
take
think
a look.
it must. There's no way this just got parked. There it is. Okay, that's what I missed before, because still, it's a great shot no matter how you slice it, but probably saved him 20 to 30 feet of distance with removing the skip.
Well, I don't think James Proctor needed any luck out there today. We caught up with him after the round. Here's what he had to say.
All right, here now with James Proctor. James, pretty solid 7 under par to start this Tour Championship. How'd you feel about the effort?
I felt great. It's the best round I've shot here by a couple strokes, I think. So, you know, the drives were feeling clean, the putts were going in. So I'm happy. It felt good.
I mean, going into this Tour Championship, brand new format, was the mindset any different at all than a normal tournament round?
I mean, not really the format, but just it's a little bit harder to focus because, you know, I got 3 more rounds left for the year. I get to go home off season. So those thoughts start to creep in a little bit. So if anything, it was just a little bit harder to kind of focus and be ready to compete.
And you finished at 7, but you started 1 over through 3. How can you clean that start up tomorrow?
I think, you know, just giving myself looks. 3, I don't know what happened off the tee. I thought I threw it good, but I was not in a great spot and didn't throw a good scramble shot. So I think, you know, for 1 and 2, I had obstructed kind of 40, 50 footers, but there was no real line. So hopefully I can just get some looks at the basket and get a couple to fall.
All right, and I saw Evelina out there with you, but we missed you this morning on her 6 under par out here. So we're going to see you caddy for her the rest of the week?
Maybe, if I can find a ride. You know, the Finns like to sleep in, so I can't leave them stranded. But, yeah, maybe I'll wake them up tomorrow or maybe someone will come pick me up. We'll see.
Cool. Thanks, James. See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Great to hear from James Proctor, as he famously was also on the bag for Evelina while she took down her world title just a few months ago.
I'll also say about Proctor, that dream of, well, there's only 3 rounds left, that's over. You're in it to win it now, man. That round you play today brings you right up in with the group of guys that could potentially win this tournament. No matter what, you're going to get to go home. Put all that behind you. Focus in. We got 3 rounds left till the Tour Championship.
And I mean, nothing will sharpen your focus like
A
being
great
up there
round.
in the hunt. You
Exactly.
know, it's easy to, I think, give up a little bit of hope if you get
Right,
if
you're
you're back 6 again and Burr to start, you're feeling, oh, I don't know, we'll see. I don't know if I have what it takes to close that down, as Ganon just hits a huge putt. But I think you're going to see plenty of energy at the top of this tournament. So much to play for the guys that can get going and get off to a hot start.
Yeah.
Wysocki with the birdie. Maybe there was some insight there. He's talking about focus. He was talking about rides. I think of Happy Gilmore getting the big check and then having to throw him in the back of his car. And if James doesn't have a car right now, maybe he was just thinking, man, I don't know if I want to be around for this big check presentation. I don't know, but he'll get over it. A $35,000 check, no matter how big it is physically, might be able to help out with some rides. Just got to order an Uber XL to get to the airport.
You know what's interesting? As we see this shot from Isaac, that needs to twist a little bit back. Oh, what a shot. Incredible. Let's take another look at that. That was perfect twist by Isaac. Nearly got a 2.
I'll never get tired of watching this guy throw those turnovers. The precision is just mind-blowing to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
How he just sets it on an angle, and you can go ahead and forget it. The thing is cruising right to the basket.
But I was going to say earlier, I know the money is awesome. It's big. But there's just something about putting your name next to winning the Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship. That event, it's basically our 5th major, as close as you get to it. And you're going to be, on that list forever of people to win the championship. I think there's a lot more to play for than just the money. Let's take a look at hole number 15, one of the easiest holes today, Sexton.
Yeah, we got the LL Bean flyover showing us the left side gap option here on the fairly easy 15th, par 3, slightly downhill. Gives you the choice right off the tee. Do you want to go dead straight at it, or do you want to embrace a little bit of that turnover movement? A little bit of a downslope near the pin, but it's going to be a mid-range almost exclusively for the field, I think. Just trying to hit the gap you choose, get your turn point right, see if you can get something to slide in there to the green.
And I feel like going the straight route, the initial gap is harder to hit for the backhand. There's these early trees that we've seen people hit first available, like this one right in the middle. The left side, easier to hit the initial gap, but a harder late turn. If you're going to go with the backhand for the sidearm, got to just, let the disc do the work at the end. I like that. Perfect.
Ganon on 3 birdies in a row all of a sudden. And right back up into lead card position.
I mean, regardless if you give him 10 strokes or not, he does that anyways towards the end of rounds. There's a great example. Rick hitting the initial gap, but hitting a late tree versus had he gone straight, it's pretty clear to the pin if you can make that initial gap.
Macbeth picks up the birdie on the 17th.
Yikes.
Too much speed for Matt. That's going to be a tough shot.
Wow, and Oram really getting it together when we saw him for a few holes, 7, 8, and 9, and then cooling off considerably. But you're not necessarily mad about some pars out here on this course. It's just a matter of not having any blow-up holes where you're taking that double or triple bogey or anything of that nature. But Oram cooled off considerably from the pace that he did set right there in the midsection.
And you can see on the back 9, he only was in circle 2 in regulation on 2 holes.
And you got to expect a bogey waiting for him on 18 after that shot we just saw. If he can somehow make that par, I think, 4 under, really nothing wrong with it. He's probably moving up the board a little bit with that number.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see what he can do.
And I think for Matty O, where he threw that second shot on 18, I don't, unless he stayed at the very edge, you almost have to just concede a bogey.
Robinson birdies and picks up the outright lead. 8 under on today's effort. That puts him at 14 under overall. Isaac Robinson out in front at 14.
And I mean, Isaac Robinson has shown us he is a comfortable front runner. He's a player with a lot of confidence. When he gets going, I think he stays in his lane. He just kind of does his thing, ignores everybody else, ignores the noise around him. Dangerous guy to spot the lead to this early.
Yeah, Worlds was a great example of that. I mean, he got the lead and never looked back. Put so much pressure on the field by not making the big mistake. His brothers come back nicely in the latter half of this round.
This looks like a little bit heavy on fade.
Stupid, dude. 100 feet past the tree and then.
Heimberg with the birdie look. Calvin trying to fight back. He's going to get back to even par for his round today. Ganon picks up a birdie. That's going to be his 4th in a row. Antala in for birdie. That's his first one since hole 11. Robinson taking his clean scorecard into the 18th.
That
he
needs
doesn't
to
like
get
it.
Down. On the line, OB. That brings double potentially into play. It's a very difficult next shot. If he tries to go for too much and save par, he could bring double easily into play. Here's Ganon.
That could be big trouble if that kicked really far left, which I think it might have.
This hole has Calvin's name written all over it.
Calvin Heimberg has this weird thing going on where all that has to happen is somebody somewhere in the world has to say the sentence, well, Calvin's out of this one. And then he rattles off more birdies than you've ever seen in your life, and somehow he's got you dreaming again that he might come back and do it. Lately, I'm sure it's been frustrating to him, but you just get the feeling he's almost got to dig himself a little hole first. And then he starts really performing at the level that we know that he can.
Well, let's do a quick test. I'll be the guy to say
okay.
it. I think Calvin's out of it.
Yeah.
Now let's see what happens.
Yeah, let's see. That's what he was waiting for. His ears just pricked up.
That's right. He's like, what does? Oh, what a shot by Rick. Beautiful. Just beautiful.
Oh, lovely.
Great kick at the end. That was some frustration out of Ricky right there. That was just a bullet out of his hand.
Gonna roll a Zuka replay and take a look at Wysocki lacing it through the center of the fairway all the way up.
There's just that is such a difficult shot to get all the way to the pin. It's 410, but plays back uphill through a gauntlet of trees. Great shot by Ricky.
Matt pitched out to here from the woods. Trying to secure bogey. Looking great to do just that. 3 under day in all likelihood for Matt Oram.
Macbeth on the 18th.
Oh, boy.
That's Miss Mando. That looked like it was short of the Mando. It definitely was. That 18th hole just baits you into it, doesn't it? So wide open.
Yeah.
But it's really difficult to judge the distance on A, where is inbounds, and B, how far those poles are away from you.
And it's, I think, a hard thing for players that are used to basically birdieing every hole they come up against.
Yeah.
You know, guys that live on the edge of how hard you can push it, how aggressive you can play. It's hard for them to stomach, like, well, maybe I should just go 200, 250, putter, and walk out of here with my tail between my legs with a par.
Right.
That's not Paul Macbeth. That's not the way he lives his life.
No.
Like, he's trying to push it at all times. And sometimes you pay a price for that. Would think single bogey. You'd hope he would have a way to putt through that and get himself back to the basket. So how aggressive does Isaac get here? It looks like kind of a lot. Looks like he might be trying to wrap the Mando.
Uh-oh. That looks short to me. And he hit the wall. That wall's outside the inbounds.
Rethrow.
Yeah, rethrow, for sure. This is exactly what we're talking about, man.
That's going to be a huge number.
Yes. If he gets up and down, it's a double. Back there on 18. This is Antula. Second throw on 16.
I mean, does he even go for the green? I mean, to go up.
If he was willing to go for the first one.
Wow, that's a big decision. Yeah. So this is shot 5, and he's going again. Nicely done. So we'll have that for the double.
Kind of a mini explosion for Isaac Robinson, something that we did not see coming.
Yeah, I mean, if he misses that putt, I think I'd take the word mini right out of there. Triple?
True.
Then again, he doesn't really miss putts, does he?
Oh, left side and in for Robinson. He's going to finish with the double bogey. That'll bring him to 12 under. A clean scorecard through 17 holes, and then hole 18 gets him for the double.
And all this drama, all these scores shooting up and down, and now look, tied first. It's those old guys, Wysocki and Buhr.
Yeah, and this is a chance for Rick, right? I mean, Ricky well inside the circle for birdie. Ganon going to be struggling to make par. In fact, par almost outside the realm of possibility for Ganon.
Yeah, this is Ganon just trying to lay this up.
Chance for Rick to take a 2-shot on the field. The old 2-time champion, defending champion, Ricky Wysocki. Bogey free so far today.
Yeah, as I was just confirming, he's the only remaining clean scorecard now that Robinson had closed out with the double.
You know, for me, Calvin missing that, it's over for Calvin Heimberg.
There you go. Just one card left out on the course. We'll see them when we return.
Feeling great starts with a great shave. Today, the world is in the palm of your hand. Or at least this can is. For over 100 years, Barbasol. It's a can of can-do.
Feels like a pixel. The first pixel in premium plastic. Wow. Talking about point and shoot. That actually flies crazy. Thanks all for the support and the Glow Pixel.
OTB is very specific on how they list the disc because they want you to like the disc.
Virtually in your hand tells you what the disc is going to feel like, how heavy it's going to be. It's everything you want to know before it shows up to your house.
Not just marketing.
It's only the best.
Jonathan. 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 Wow! Amazing!
Jonathan. Skulle du visa?
Hi. Yeah, check this pad out.
I think you should use your wrist a little bit more.
Why not?
Is he okay?
Yeah, he's fine.
TeamDiscraft.com, your ultimate destination for exclusive player-inspired releases, collaborations, and collections. Discover limited edition discs, apparel, and accessories you won't find anywhere else. TeamDiscraft.com brings you the gear you need for the ultimate fan shopping experience. Don't miss out on these one-of-a-kind items. Shop today and rep your favorite team.
Welcome back. Our three-time champion, two-time recent defending champ, though, in Ricky Wysocki. Back-to-back years, Ricky Wysocki taking it down here in 22 and then also in 2023.
This was the putt on 16 coming down the stretch. Unreal. That intensity on Ricky's face.
I mean, that first one that won the playoff. What is that, a $15,000 putt? I mean, that might be the richest Frisbee throw of all time.
Yeah.
This is looking good, working left. Just needs to settle before the OB line.
So, Brian, we're seeing the tee shots here on 17. You know, this is a big change here, these two wide open holes. How difficult it is for these players to kind of judge the distance on these shots, seeing these out of bounds lines on 17 and 18?
Well, the way things are laid out, it severely benefits you to push as far and as left as you possibly can off the tee. And with this tight gap, it makes it really hard to actually do that. If you are far and left, you can take a little bit of a backhand turnover into the green if you want. Forehand's an option as well, but if you're pinched off right, you have to throw such a massive blind forehand to this green that's roped off pretty tightly. This is one of those holes where I saw a lot of players throughout the week just sitting in this first landing zone, throwing shots into the green, just trying to get a feel for the depth perception. It's pretty tough.
Yeah, I could easily see any one of these guys in practice throwing 10 shots from over here just to try to gain that distance, judge it, because it is kind of blind. You're throwing out into a field.
Yeah, we'll take a look at Ricky Wysocki here in 2024, three-time champion of the Disc Golf Pro Tour. Worst finish was the LWS Open at Idlewild, which he even contemplated not participating in, and you can see the result was still 18th. Memorable moment, shot the highest rated round ever, European soil, during round one of the European Disc Golf Festival. Rated 11-17 and sitting at $99,000 right now for Ricky Wysocki.
You know, when I really think about Ricky's season, of course, we hold Ricky to the highest standard of almost anybody. And It's been a great season, 3 victories, but it's going to be another year without a major title on to his record. And I think that's gonna sit with Ricky all off season until we get to the Champions Cup next year. It seems inevitable that Ricky will eventually win one of these, but only time will tell. So far over you.
Ganon must have a weird definition of OB. If he means circle 1, or just outside of it.
This is why I don't get Ganon not throwing sidearm on, what is it, 6?
Yeah, sure.
For that exact shot right there.
Plenty of power.
Brian, how far is this shot, this second shot here on 17, the one we just saw Ganon throw?
It's probably between 350 and 400, slightly downhill. And the more right you go, the more blind the shot is. It's pretty large.
That goes right over the top of the basket, checks up short of the OB, and he'll have about 12 meters coming back for the birdie.
Fantastic. Ricky Wysocki just outside bullseye.
I mean, you kind of got to think with this weather conditions and where Ricky threw his tee shot, he's expecting bullseye every time.
Yeah.
And with that, Isaac Robinson is in the clubhouse. He caught up with Nate Perkins. Here's what he had to say.
All right, here now with Isaac Robinson, 6 under par. Talk about the day.
Yeah, the day felt great. Was getting off the tee really well and was making pretty much all my circle 1 putts. So if you're doing that, you're going to shoot pretty well out here, and I was feeling great.
And talk about the difficulty in the finishing hole. I know it bit you today, but talk about what you're trying to accomplish there on that hole.
Yeah, I think tomorrow I'm going to just play a mid-range to a little shorter. Today I pushed it with a fairway and ended up going OB right, and then threw it OB short, trying to go, trying to save the par. But tomorrow I'm going to throw to the kind of the fat part of the layup zone, and then I'm going to pitch over, pitch across, and hopefully get a par.
Are there any other holes out here that you're changing the game plan on up for tomorrow?
No, I think I'll play, hope to play the course the exact same. I feel like if you're shooting right around 6 or 7, you're shooting a good, 6 to 8, you're shooting a good round. So loved what I was doing out there and just got to clean up 18.
And what does it mean to you to be playing alongside your brother? I mean, at the Tour Championship, it's not just a random card, it's you guys have been neck and neck all season.
Yeah, it's just super cool. We've been playing together since we were 5 and 6 years old, and to be playing out here on the big stage is just incredible. And I know a lot of people would, give anything to be in the same spot. So super grateful and just love the time that we have out here.
And, were you at all checking scores, and are you going to, thank your friend Ganon Buhr for helping out the rest of the field early on in his round today?
Yeah, I saw he had a rough start, but, he's got some strokes to play with, and I think at the end of the day we're going to be almost tied. So now it's just beat him round by round. I'm going to be playing against him and Rick, and I just got to beat them each of these next 3 rounds, and I think that's the game plan, and that's what I got to do.
All right, Isaac, thanks for your time. We'll see you on the lead card tomorrow.
Thank you.
What a great perspective from Isaac. Saw Antala bury the putt. Just about 25 feet or so for Buhr. And he too connects. And let's take a look at Nate's keys for closing, brought to us by blackinkdisc.com, the premium disc golf store.
Well, you got to ride that momentum. I mean, we saw Isaac try to do that, and he got snake bit there on 18. You got to make the big putt. We already saw that from Proctor and Isaac on 18. You can see it's wide open over there. It's hard to make that putt there, but you got to make them. And full shot commitment. I mean, if you're going to play the layup on 18, you got to be committed to that. If you're going to go for it, obviously you got to be committed. That's what it takes to win coming down the stretch.
Let's take a look at the 18th and what you need to do.
Well, it's a tight gap to start, and that is, I think, often overlooked just because of how great these guys are at hitting gaps with big power. But that's an intimidating gap, a series of gaps really to get you going. Then you've got OB on the right side and bad rough here on the left. A little bit of a choke point at the corner that's going to keep you honest. Hard to drive the disc all the way to that back area. You can kind of try to get into that middle zone and then play the aggressive shot if you want to. Look how much distance they left off the wall for the OB. Absolutely brutal. Even if you clear the wall, you have to go another 10, 15 feet to find inbounds territory. And then you've got the elevated basket. If the wind does come up at all, you're going to feel it here on 18.
Big thanks to our friends over at FlightFactoryDisc.com. Head on over there. They're offering up 15% off everything on their website. You don't even need a code. Although Wysocki may have the code here for the tee shot of 18.
I don't think you could place it much better as far as distance off the tee is concerned.
Yeah, it's crushed.
Certainly you might want to be a little bit more right, closer to that corner, but Ricky's like at or near being past
Right,
parallel of the corner.
The limit.
Yeah.
As far as you could throw it. I mean, that probably went 475 feet.
Yeah, I mean, if he goes another 10, 15 feet, he's in the corner of the trees. Chance for Rick. I like this too. It's got to just kind of flatten out.
Oh, wow.
It'll be interesting to see the angle that Ricky has. Because the more left you are, the more it baits you in to try to want to throw like a hyzer. But that's when that big OB pull or mandatory pull comes into play. I mean, Ricky obviously has the power to go forehand there too. So I would guessing we'd see a forehand, but it'll be interesting to kind of see the decision making there.
Nothing wrong with that.
Might be a birdie.
A crush there by Heimberg. Welcome in, everyone. Something I wanted to share is earlier in the week when I got to talk to Ganon Buhr after the USDGC victory, knowing he had this year wrapped up, and he's looked so dominant, I asked him, how do people beat you? And the one thing he said is, well, they have to bogey less. That's what he said during the podcast a few nights ago. Today, he's come out and proven he is beatable if he makes some mistakes on his own, and that's exactly what he did. He's turning it around, though, this afternoon. Now we're back to regular form for Ganon Buhr, and he's going to be here as a contender. So I don't know what other advice can be thrown around out there, but Ganon Buhr is just exceptional at throwing these Frisbees around.
Yeah, no question. I mean, if he can limit his mistakes, obviously he's proven himself to be the world number one. But I think slipped up a little bit, giving Ricky Wysocki a tiny bit of an edge. He certainly didn't want to flip that advantage around, and it's looking increasingly likely that Rick can hold on to that.
Yeah, so I think the backhand shot here is a layup. The sidearm is a go for it. I think that's exactly the situation here. It looks like he's going to go for it. You know, I did hear him make that statement on the show, Terry, and I was thinking that also the statement could be flipped to that he needs everybody to hope he bogeys more. And that's kind of what's happened today. Although Ricky has avoided an OB or a bogey so far. Oh, yeah.
Nice and safe. I like that. He's very aggressive but very committed. So he got it out flat, gave the Mando a wide berth, pushed it to the back edge, and then faded it down. Never really in any danger of going out of bounds.
Now I know he can get that birdie on 6 with the sidearm. That was fantastic, that shot he just threw. See if Rick can get inside him.
Low running skip here. Ooh. 40 feet at least left for Ricky Wysocki.
Brian, how hard is it to judge the distance from, you know, these shots back here with that, you know, spectator wall and all that good stuff?
I think it's kind of tough because it's pretty flat ground, so you can't really see the out of bounds too well because of the spectator or the ad walls, making it a little tough. So yeah, just another one of those depth perception shots, and the players spent a lot of time out here this week, especially if you don't go super far off the tee. You're having to bend one around this Mando sign. It's a really treacherous last shot.
And you know, it's so interesting too, Sexton. We talk about how good the sidearms have gotten on tour. And this clearly is a sidearm, but it's a big one.
Oh yeah.
And even how good they've gotten, still not one that they're willing to go for, because this backhand is so tough compared to just throwing a
Yeah, you just need elite power, I think, from here, because you can't be messing with what happened to Macbeth, where he just didn't get the push and missed the Mando, and Niklas comes up short. But I agree with you. The backhand is so difficult because you have to turn it. And then if you overdo it, like we saw from Isaac and now Niklas, now you're diving into the ground. You cannot afford the hyzer out, OB the other side.
I also feel like, I mean, obviously it's such a touchy shot when you're throwing turnover here, but the mistake has to be long.
That
like
would be
high.
ideal. Yeah, that makes sense.
Or left, right? So you just put it out there left, but it's still such a touchy shot. In your mind, you're thinking you're trying to park it.
Yeah, you're trying to make birdie. So your chief concern is making sure you get turn. But that does make for a dangerous shot.
This is the mistake you would want to make, if any, which is left. Great
and
adjustment.
honestly, that's still really close.
Yeah.
I want to thank the Charlotte Disc Golf Club and all the volunteers and supporters and sponsors for hosting us yet again here in the Charlotte area. I believe this is 6 years in a row, our third time at Nevin, which is the Matt Keats Memorial Disc Golf Course. And thank you everyone out there for providing such a venue and an opportunity for us to have our Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship presented by Barbasol. And as they approach, I'm going to throw it out to Brian one last time. Brian, any parting shots before we see you in the Tournament Central later on tonight?
Can't wait to see this tournament shake up. I actually am pretty surprised at how the leaderboard shook up, even with the stroke advantage that some of these players got. I'm really excited to see how it finishes.
And someone who knows how to finish is Ricky Wysocki, joining the Goose Club. getting 16, 17, and 18 to finish. So impressive. A relatively slow round for Wysocki. In fact, he looked mad most of the round, but then a strong close, getting 4 of the last 5. Wysocki is going to shoot a 7 under and sits out in front of the entire field at 16 under as a total.
I mean, if you were to ask Ricky on the first tee, hey, man, you're going to go 4 for the last 5. Which one do you think you parred? No way he says 15.
For real.
I mean, what a finish.
One of those things is not like the other. Hole 15, fairly easy as Niklas. Airball's another one. The others all got to be in the top half in terms of difficulty on this course. Incredible finish for Ricky Wysocki. Yet again, he's done that out here before. Making a statement.
And boy, that missed punt is going to bounce. Nice birdie there from Buhr. That's going to bounce Antila off the lead card. That is going to put Proctor on the lead card. They'll both be at 11. But today, Proctor's shooting 7, and for Antila, it'll just be 3 under. So disappointing finish for Antila. Still got to make this putt, though. Has not been a great day for Calvin, but what a finishing second shot here on 18. Great turnover, kept it inbounds long. Got to make this one for birdie.
Antila will close out with the double bogey.
No, you could have that one rough enough to like make you pitch out, so I'd like have to try to go aggressive. I know it's the last for that.
Yeah, you're right there.
I'm right there. Chance. There's 3 more rounds. Still a chance. Squares right over here.
You guys just doubled the birdie count on Holly's team.
Yeah.
What is this? Finally seeing a smile from Ricky Wysocki. He's going to be your leader by 2 over Ganon Buhr. Shooting a 7 under. Buhr finishes with a 4 under. Buhr also did pick up 6 out of the last 7 holes for birdie. Take another look at Wysocki. And some mini Raptor legs coming from Wysocki with that strong closeout. What are you thinking after seeing our first round here, Sexton?
2-time defending champ had a dream start, I think, to make it a three-peat. I mean, that's exactly how Ricky Wysocki would have hoped this first round would play out. Obviously, so much still to play for, 3 more rounds.
Yeah, Rick, Gannon, Isaac, the 3 guys that won, the most and the biggest tournaments. They're the top 3. Proctor, who's the most recent winner on tour, I think it's pretty much a dream. Lead card tomorrow. Can somebody bounce from the chase? It's going to be tough with the guys at the top, but hey, we're in for it. We're locked in. It's a tour championship.
All right. Well, we'll hear from Ricky Wysocki, and we'll have our OTB shot of the day along with everything else in Tournament Central on the other side of the break.